Eyes on Fishing with Mitch Peterson, Josh Sheldon, and Brad Qualley, leading you to the next level.
Welcome back to All Eyes on Fishing. Tonight we're going to be talking about just general maintenance. What your general maintenance for your boat, your just all your gear, whatever it is.
Gear, motors, whatever.
No, we were on the way here tonight. We were talking a little bit about it, and we're like, well, let's shoot it. I mean, it's a good topic because there's so many things you can do in the winter to get yourself ready for spring because you don't want to be doing it last minute.
Well, and you don't want to get stuck on the road and have something happen, or you're on the lake, or
It's happened.
you know, you're
It's happened.
Hey, well, you know what I mean. I mean, the ice is pushed off, and you're excited to be out there, and then all of a sudden, you know, you back it in, and the motor doesn't start, or your batteries are dead, or it won't take a charge, and you thought it did.
So let's talk about batteries.
Batteries is a big one.
Because winter batteries, that's where people get screwed when they come out in the spring and they're ready to go.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I've had my issues with batteries over the years, and I store my boat in an outside storage, and there's quite a few years in the past where I just leave my batteries in there, go get my boat maybe once a month and plug it in, charge the batteries, try that, but it never fails. Oh, yeah, my batteries are
One a
junk.
year, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going down to buy 2 new batteries,
Right.
you know, and
Every year.
Well,
every year.
well,
And they should be good for 2 or 3 years.
at least. Most of them
I-
are 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
with the amount that we're charging
Right.
and using them, if I
Well-
get 2-3 years out of it, I'm pretty
Right.
happy. Not
Right.
one, though.
Let's separate it out, though. I mean, I think it's important, because I think first off, and we've discussed this amongst us, but I think it's important to know that it's regional, right? So if you live in the Midwest where it's damp, and it gets much colder than it does here in Colorado. People don't understand that, you know, they think Colorado, snow, John Denver, all that good stuff. It's not really how it is here. I mean, we get 300 and some days of sun, and, you know, like this whole week, it's been upper 50s to mid 50s all week, and so we can really fish and leave our boats, and it's not that big of a deal. So I personally do not take my batteries out.
Well,
I
yours
leave
is in
them
the
boat,
garage.
But it's in the garage, right,
Yes.
but that's the difference too. Like I said, let's separate it out. So Midwest, you're gonna treat it different.
Yes.
If you're gonna store it even in the garage, you know you're gonna have ice. Sometimes we don't get ice, so we may use the boat, you know, it may only be out of service for a couple months.
Yeah.
So Midwest, you know you're gonna get ice, you know it's gonna be out of service for 3-5 months at least, right? So you're gonna probably take the batteries out, or at least I would, right? You're gonna go through all the prep on your
Well, I
motor.
think Mitch
with-
should after
Oh,
every year.
Right, but that's
I do
why.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he leaves it outside, that's the other thing,
Well,
right?
so do I, but every year?
Come on, yeah. I've been taking my batteries out for a few years now.
We're talking
No
about
issues.
past.
No issues.
Yeah.
So Brad, why don't you tell everybody your slick thing that you got?
So I went to Harbor Freight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my batteries, I ended up buying these, they're 1.5 watt, just trickle charger, but they're solar.
Right.
So I put them on my batteries. Now, they're not gonna charge your battery, there's a maintainer, right? But it keeps it, because we don't get super cold here, I mean, I think our average in the winter, I mean, we have some cold spells, but it's usually around 40,
At least,
35, 40, whatever. But,
But it's
the
dry.
trickle chargers, so I have a 24-volt system, I separate those out to where there's just a 12-volt system now, and each one has its own 1.5 solar
To
trickle
keep it-
charger.
yeah, to keep it
15
going.
bucks for
Right.
each one. I tell you what, that cost me less than 50 bucks for 3 of them to get all 3 of my batteries. It's a lot cheaper than going and buying.
Yeah, and it works great.
It works
I
great.
mean, yeah, he goes out picks up the boat and it's
Right.
charged.
Right,
Yeah.
well, and I've seen, and what brought up, part of us wanting to talk about this, is we've seen on Facebook where guys will ask, hey, what do you guys do with your batteries? And, you know,
I used to bring them in and put them in my garage.
Well, and I
And that
used to.
works all right.
Right, and I used to bring them in, put them in my basement, don't put them on concrete, store them with a barrier between the concrete and the battery, because the concrete will zap it.
2x4.
Yeah, I just did like plywood or something. But then you take that and you know, I would see guys, they would answer, you know, oh, I do this or I do that. Some of them do some kind of extreme things. Others say they leave their charger, the ones that, you know, let's say your Ranger or your charger you bought at Bass Pro and you put on.
Your onboard.
Onboard charger. They leave it plugged in all the time.
No.
And you're going to smoke your charger. And guys say, well, I've been doing it for 15 years, I've never smoked it. Well, guess what? You're one lucky SOB, because
No.
it's going to smoke the charger, and you run the risk of blowing up a battery. I've blown up 2 batteries with onboard chargers and not leaving them plugged in like that, just charging them before a tournament or something. And it blew the lid right open, and I thank God I didn't have the lid latched, because God only knows what kind of damage it would have done. It was on an aluminum boat, so it didn't, you know, all the acid and stuff was just
I
wiped
think it was
up. and-
operator error.
No, it wasn't, because it happened twice, and
Well, that's a
it was the
common theme.
onboard
That's a
charger.
common theme.
Red is positive, black
Yeah,
is
right.
negative.
So it was the onboard charging system, but I
Not
also
operator
noticed, and what people don't understand,
He's just gonna keep talking.
yeah, I'm ignoring both of you. So the onboard charging system was saying it was charged. It was saying all the batteries were good to go. And the problem is that there was a bad battery, and I found out why it blew up. There was a bad battery, and it continued to pump
Yeah.
juice into it.
That's your problem. You
And
need a
it-
cell.
Yes,
That's
but it
bad.
was reading good, charged. So it was hooked on there, and all of a sudden it blew up. And so I came out, and the battery's cracked in half.
Well,
There's, you know,
No, I think the charger, but I think one of the good things too is boat maintenance. I know that I started doing this a few years ago is reconnecting because I do the solar trickle charge thing.
You do
So
do.
I
You do do.
I
I do.
yeah, shut up. So what I end up doing now is you always clean your terminals.
Right.
God, it makes such a big difference.
well, and you got to check your water levels too, guys. A
Yeah.
lot of guys don't understand. I mean, that, you know, first off, it's on there, on the trailer, right? It's getting jiggled everywhere. And it's on and then it's on the water, and of course, it's getting slammed around, especially if you're on the big lakes. So you have to fill it up with distilled water. I do it at least twice a year. I check it. I top them off. I make sure I use a rubber mallet and really knock down you know, make sure the lids are all flush and solid and seated well, because, I mean, if you don't, you know, God, there's nothing worse than being out on the lake and you run out of battery, or the battery doesn't work, or it's dead and you didn't know it, or, you know, oh, man.
Well, I think we've talked more about batteries than I plan on us talking, but it's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
No, seriously, it's stuff that you need to consider, because that's the lifeline of
Right.
your whole
Yeah,
boat.
it
If
is.
you don't have a good battery, you're
Right.
SOL. So, but getting there too.
Well,
This
it's
happened to
second
us this
biggest
year.
nightmare.
This happened to us this year because I wasn't thinking ahead. We talked about it, but just never did it, is damn bearing buddies.
Uh-huh.
Not having bearings for your trailer. We were leaving for a tournament at like 3:30 in the morning. It was pre-fish day, right? It was like 3:30 in the morning. We're doing a 3-4 hour pull. And Mitch went and picked up the boat because I had to work that night. And just before he got to his house, blew out a bearing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God, where do you go get bearings at 3 in the morning? So we had to wait till 7 when the Napa or O'Reilly's or whatever it was opened up to go buy bearing buddies. 20 minutes later, we get them in, we're on the road. But we lost 3.5 hours because we didn't think about it. We
Right.
talked about it, but didn't take it serious. So now I have 2 sets of bearing buddies in my boat, and I also have an extra hub.
Yeah.
too, Just because you never know.
Yep, the grease, the tools.
The-
everything
well,
you
that's
need.
the truth,
Pack,
yeah.
pack a little tote
That's
with
what I
everything
got
you need.
now.
Yeah.
Works
Keep
perfect.
it in the boat. You
Or
always
in,
have
or in
it.
the truck, at least. I don't, you know, they might have room to keep it in the boat.
Well, whatever,
Keep it in the
just a
truck.
hat.
Right,
I
right.
don't- I don't know about everybody else, but every time I've blown out a bearing on my boat trailer, I wasn't planning on it happening. So, you know, it doesn't
Right.
hurt a thing to have those supplies, and then you're good to go.
Right. No, and that's the other thing too, is, you know, if you're, before you go out, or the first time you go out, if it's close, right, local, you're only going a few miles to the
Check
boat
the
ramp. You check you know, pull it off, and I do this before, my last time it goes on the trailer, and my first time off, I walk around that trailer. I see if, you know, rabbits or mice got in your garage or something and they've eaten through the wires and you didn't know. I look and check to make sure there's nothing hanging. I look at my brakes, my pads. Hey, are they in good shape? And, you know,
Well,
are my bunks not coming apart?
Well,
or-
yeah, like we had that same issue a couple years ago where one of my trailer lights was, it didn't look like it, but it was just dangling. But because we did that inspection, we're like, that's barely holding on.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to fix when you're at your house. We went and got a couple new nuts and put it on there and it was fine. We're good for the year,
Right.
but that
Right.
could have been disastrous
Yeah,
going down the road.
and even with the self-contained hubs, like on the Ranger trailers, you know, one of our teammates, he was looking around his trailer while we were up at a tournament, and he noticed that it was starting to leak along the backside of the wheel. Well, most people aren't going to look at the backside of their wheel. I mean,
Well,
unless
Mitch had
something
that
bad
happen to him
happens.
with his bearings, and I can't remember what happened with your trailer, but it ended up, because you didn't notice it or something happened in the back of your bearings to where it created like a
Oh,
gap.
I've got a little nick in the actual axle, in the spindle.
Oh.
And it's teeny, and I thought, nope, I'm good to go. This is gonna seal. Oh, no, it didn't seal.
No.
So I've got grease that
Oh,
leaks
do you?
out. Yep. And I've got bearing buddies, so I think it gets to a certain, like, pressure, and then it stops leaking. I
Uh-huh.
can wipe it clean and keep rolling, everything's good. So I've just been adding more grease, but basically,
But
I have to replace my axle to truly fix that little issue.
Because,
Right,
just because.
You didn't see it.
Yep, and we didn't do the pre-check before. I mean,
Yep.
maybe if you would have seen, no, something's not quite right, we could have taken care of it. Now it's a big expense. I mean, right now, you're fortunate enough that it's so minute that you know, a few times a year, you put a little more grease in and you're fine.
Yep.
But it's the axle, it's not the bearing buddies.
Right.
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 Well, hey, Josh brought up your bunks on your trailer. Well, this happened to me. It was probably my first time out one spring a couple of years ago. I jumped in the boat, backed it off the trailer, and all of a sudden, yeah, one of my bunks floated right out with me. I was like, oh no, now what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, I had some cord in my truck or twine, and I just tied that board back
Yeah.
on. But sure enough, it was all rotted. I'd never checked my bunks, you know,
You know, it's funny because that happened to you. We pulled my boat off that next season, pulled it off, parked it up on the beach, and I replaced my bunks. One of them was going bad. The other one was fine, but I replaced them.
Yep.
Just because I didn't want that issue.
Yep.
What do you do?
No, well, and another thing to think about too, and this is something that a lot of guys don't know, you know, you pay a lot of money for these boats. And so I was looking at the inside of my wheels for the grease, right after you had your issue. I thought, well, I'm gonna take a look. The inside of my hubs are plywood. So on a Ranger trailer, on the outside is, you know, all the fiberglass, right? And they look real pretty. On the inside, they're flat pieces of plywood. Same with the carpet on the bunk board on the hub, on the, you know, the outer part of the frame for the hubs on the tires. Well, it's all plywood. So I had some, kind of like rhino lining for your back of your truck. So I sprayed it with rhino lining to help to kind of seal off that wood, because that's another part you don't know, and you're not gonna realize that could all be going bad and starting to pull off in chunks, and you're never gonna know. And how do you fix that, right? I mean, that is something you're gonna have to take to a professional to get done, and it's gonna cost you a bunch of money.
Right.
So
Well,
that is
and
a
that was the
scary
one
deal.
thing, when I replaced my bunks, I just used regular wood, screwed it back on with little lags, and everything was good. Well, the one thing I wished I would have done was paint that wood, you know, good.
I
quite a
did.
few coats. And that was
Five
my
coats.
point. So when it came time for Brad to do his, it was like, yeah, you might want to do this.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we even put in some silicone in the pre-drilled hole.
we did.
And when we screwed down those lags, oh yeah, it was watertight.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure his bunks are gonna last for years and years now, but straight from the manufacturer, no, it's just straight pine,
Right,
wood, no
right.
treated, not painted, nothing. That stuff's gonna rot.
Well, another thing you need to look at too, since we're just talking boats, is your connection from your truck to your
Right,
boat.
right.
You know,
Well,
whether it's a four-prong or it's a
Yeah.
pigtail, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
That always seems to be like corroded.
or
every year.
rusted, or.
Whatever,
yeah.
so you need to get in there with a wire brush and clean it off or replace it,
Yeah.
whatever, I mean, however bad it is. But I don't know how many times we've rolled down the road early in the season and you see your lights blinking on and off.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, because you're not, we're excited, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
But these are things they should be doing in
Well, and all-
January or February.
Well, and all the winter crap gets up underneath there. I mean, that's the thing too,
Yeah.
is like these, you know, the Midwest guys, they have the salt, and we have the, what is that stuff they put down, the
Mag chloride.
lead chloride, right? All that stuff gets up underneath your ride, and, you know, and if you're still going out to the lake like sometimes we are, gets up on your trailer, and that starts to even corrode at those connections, and so it's bad. And, you know, and the other thing is, and moving on from, you know, lights and trailers and all that, I do it in the fall, and I don't know when you guys do it, but prop comes off, hubs come off, you know, everything comes off right down to the spindle of the motor, and I check for fishing line.
Oh, yeah.
I grease it, and I do the same on the electric and the kicker, you know, because you could go all year and not even know it, and all of a sudden it eats at that seal, and water's getting up into the electric where it
No,
shouldn't
that's,
be, or-
I always do that, but me and Mitch get together usually at the end of February, beginning of March, just before they open up the lakes here for boats. And we redo all of our line on our
Yeah.
poles and pull off we do all that at that
Yeah,
time.
and I do it in the
You-
spring,
you
I mean, in the fall, just because, for me, it's just easier, because like you do say, you know, usually, and I know how it is with the three of us, right? That opening day comes, and it is a quick phone call between the three of
Yep,
us.
yep,
It's nice
yep.
enough weather out,
Gone.
okay, let's go.
It's
And-
snowing,
yep,
fine.
Yep, we're going, yeah, we got enough time, let's roll, and we're gone. So I don't want to have to be, oh, I didn't check my prop for line, so I do it in the fall, but.
Hey, I want to bring up one other thing, and you posted it on our Facebook regarding the tires. You guys remember how they read.
Yes.
'Cause I don't remember what it is, but it's crucial because I had no idea, and that didn't come into my boat trailer. But because of that, I went and checked my RV. I got one of those drivable RVs.
It's super old.
And I was like, oh my God. I replaced two of them like that. They were like
Yep.
12 years old or
Yeah,
something.
yep.
No kidding. Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't either, and it's awesome. So, they print on the side of the tire, for those of you who didn't see our Facebook, and if you haven't, shame on you, go look at it. But if you haven't seen it or you don't know, there's kind of oval circles that are down towards the rim on the bottom of the tire, and basically it gives a month, and it gives it gives a day and a year. So it was created on, let's say, the, it'll be like 256/18. Well, it was created on the 256th day of 2018. That's how old your tire is.
And that's the Julian date, if you want to.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, very good night.
We used it in
Check out the
the,
big
in the
brain
military.
on Mitch.
In the military, we go by Julian.
Yeah, I bet you.
So, well, but it was, you know what? That's great, right? Because if people don't know, and I'm sure there's tire guys out there and stuff, tires lose the oil out of the tire, right? They start to seep out and all of that within probably about 4 years, 5 years max. So they always recommend, if you get to that 4-year mark, even if your tread isn't bad, that you pull it out,
So
right?
I'm looking at our Facebook posts, and the number that you're talking about, it's oval, is 5202.
Mm-hmm.
So 52 is the 52nd week built in '02.
Or is it week? Oh, 52nd week. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. Yeah, not
So
the
there you
day,
go.
sorry.
So it's not the Julian date.
No.
It's not the
Just-
Julian.
just so everybody knows.
I knew that was
Sorry,
right.
yeah, no, it was the week. So no, so it's the 52nd week of '02.
So if it was this year, right now, let's just say
Yeah.
4018.
Yeah.
It would be 40th week of 18 is when it was built or whatnot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So-
mine were not good.
Yeah.
Hey, here's one thing, since we're talking tires. Everybody gets their new boats, right? I'm not sure what tires Ranger puts on their boats or Lund or whatever, but I tell you what, a lot of brand-new boats on the trailers, they put on the absolute cheapest
Yes,
tires
that is a
ever.
great point.
So just because you have a brand-new ride this spring and you're rolling out, keep a close eye on those tires. Brad and I were on our way to Mille Lacs, and we got just right from the Iowa to Minnesota border, and we had issues. And sure enough, the tire guy told us, he goes, no, they put on the absolute cheapest
Cheapest.
tires you can get.
Yep.
So he bought a new set, and they're the same tires that are on there now,
Yep.
and don't show any
Well,
wear or anything.
And
So-
I'll give you, I just replaced 2 of my 4, because they're expensive, and so I couldn't afford to do all 4 at one point, because they're about $208, $12 a piece. But, and this is not a push for any one company, but BF Goodyear, or BF Goodrich just put out a new trailer tire, brand new, just came out last year or this year, and it is awesome. I mean, it is even the guys at the tire store were like, this tire is head and shoulders above
What is
any
it?
other trailer tire. BF Goodrich, it's it's not Marathon, it's, I can't remember what it's called, but
But
it
it's
is.
specific for trailer
Specific
tires.
trailer tire, it is their only trailer tire, and so I bought 2. I took my 2 better ones that came on the trailer, right? But see, now my boat is, our trailer and boat are 4 years old, so now I really need to replace them. And so I'm gonna do 2 more again this spring.
Well, I know when me and Mitch, when I first got my boat, the one I'm in now, we got it, and it's like a month later, we're like, it'd be fun to go fish up in Mille Lacs. So that's only like an 18-hour drive. But,
Yeah.
so we go heading to Mille Lacs, and we got, 3-4 hours. We pull off at a Walmart, because they had the gas center, we're gonna get some gas to finish, and the tires are smoked.
No kidding.
Smoked.
Yeah.
Thank God. I don't remember the town that we were in, but these guys were awesome at the Walmart. They had trailer tires.
We were
I
in
don't know-
Rochester.
Was it Rochester?
Yeah.
Oh, man, those guys were awesome. Because they were closing in like 10 minutes. The guy said, no, we'll hook you up. Jacked up the boat, put new tires on, their trailer tires. Still have them on there now. They look like I just
Yeah.
bought them.
Yeah.
But they were, like $120 a piece. I wish I knew the brand, but, nah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how bad. I mean, this boat, my trailer only had a couple hundred miles on it before we decided to go drive 18
Well,
hours.
and pay attention to the rating for the speed. Most of these guys don't understand. I see guys pass me on the interstate, and they're hauling, right? 85 miles an hour or more. Most of these tires are rated for 65, maybe 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, you just gotta be
and
careful.
they're smoking. And so, 75, 80,
Each
that's
tire's
usually
gonna be
about
your
what
own,
we
but-
do, but,
If I come up behind you and you're going 65, I'm
oh,
blowing.
yeah,
past
but,
you.
but
Yeah,
remember
time
though.
spent on the water.
Yeah.
Buy an extra tire.
But remember
That's why
though,
we got spares.
But you have a single axle
Yeah, even worse for
tire,
me.
yeah, but in a lighter one, so you have a smaller tire. So, you know,
No, I
your
don't.
rotation,
I got a
bet you
16-inch
anything.
tire. What size is yours?
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know. But
See,
it's,
you
well,
don't-
He's got 22s on
Yeah,
there.
with spinners.
Spinners. Yeah, that's almost like they come, some of them. But I have, you know, but I have, like you said, I mean, it's dual axle, but it's gonna hold more, so it's gonna be a higher rated probably.
Sure. Well, let's wrap this up. Enough talking about it, but it's definitely things you should be doing in the winter. If your boat's sitting out there out at your storage unit or in
Yeah,
the
if it's-
garage, wherever.
Well, that's it. So if it's outside, take the batteries out.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't do it. You can't run
But
an
inspect your
extension
tires
cord.
now so you can get those
Right.
if you need new tires.
Yep, and then
know,
as soon as
have
it
it
floats
ready.
off, look at your bunk boards, look at your electrical,
Yeah.
look at, because, you know, and again, outside storage is much harder on these boats.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you got the mice, you got the rabbits, you got whatever little rodent's gonna crawl up in there where you live, and he's gonna eat the wires, or they're gonna do whatever.
Just need to check it out.
And you got to do it because you don't want to be on the road. That is my biggest fear, is you're on the road and, you know, and you're pulled over because, you know how it is. You don't want to have to drop your boat.
Well, we're going because we love to fish, not
Right.
because we love to break down on the road.
Well, or go to the town, you know, and go find
Yeah.
somebody in the
Yeah.
nearest town, and hopefully they'll help you out, and,
Yeah.
you know, it's just a disaster. So anyways, that's always good for everyone to
Well,
keep in
thanks for
mind.
joining us tonight. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Twitter, also on Instagram. We also have some podcasts because you're listening to it, but we have it on multiple formats
New stuff now, yeah, we're all over the place, right? So we're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play, we're on Stitcher and Sketcher, and so we have all these different platforms it's on you can listen to, and finally, YouTube has allowed us to put it on there, and so it's on YouTube. So
Yeah.
you can watch our videos,
Yeah,
which
we
are on
have quick
YouTube.
tips that we're starting to do. One thing that we're going to talk about in 2019 is starting back that big bite. So we can
Yep.
email your biggest fish of the catch
To us.
alleyesonfishing@gmail.com.
Yep.
We'd love to post it on our website.
Yep, and one other thing, and I'll let you go.
Well, I tell you, I just love it when people interact with us. So, hey, give us feedback, ask us questions, get the conversation going, you know,
Yep.
on anything, Facebook page, wherever. We love it.
Yep.
You know, we love to fish.
Yep, and we're gonna start with the upgrading of our equipment. We're gonna have people call in. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be Gary Parsons calling in. You know, we want to interact with normal, real people.
That's
So-
coming in 2019. We're
So that'll be
excited.
good stuff.
As
So-
long as it doesn't interfere with fishing.
That's right, yeah. So it's coming in 2019 up till about May.
25.
Yeah.
No, 2025. No, so everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining us. And anything else, Matt? Mr.
Nope.
Wrap it up?
No, we're
Thank you.
good, thanks. This has been All Eyes on Fishing. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next time, where we discuss all of your favorite fishing topics. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Check out our videos on YouTube, or read our blog at alleyesonfishing.com. All Eyes on Fishing, leading you to the next level.